first is very important to be clear about what this first quarter GDP print shows. If you recall, Japan didn't really start tightening the restrictions on service sector activity, and we really didn't see that decline in mobility until April when the government declared a state of emergency. So in some ways, it does capture that decline in consumption that began in March, but the worst hit is going to come in April. And another thing that drove this GDP print down was the big sharp drop in inbound tourism. We had basically a sudden stop in overseas tourist visits, so that also weighed on exports, and that really accounted for much of this 3.4% annualized drop. But when we get that 20% plus drop that we expect for the second quarter GDP, a lot of it's going to be that big slump in consumption that happened in April.
Right. Izumi, do want to get your perspective on what are the next steps that we can expect from the BOJ, because in their last release, they said that they're now going to be looking at expanding the asset purchases to include municipal bonds, a special category of bonds. They're going to keep it with government bonds and largely local bonds at this point in time. Do you think that a large part of their next move would include direct cash transfers, some version of helicopter money, MMT in the works?
Well, in terms of how Japan is handling this, there is a clear division of labor between the government, the fiscal authorities, and the BOJ in terms of who's going to be doing that cash transfer process. The government did actually incorporate a big cash transfer program as part of its latest supplementary budget. And the Bank of Japan's role is that it's not going to be the one doing the so-called helicopter money directly, but it will be playing an indirect role in funding the process by basically keeping yields pinned down via their yield curve control program. So it is a coordinated effort, but it's not explicitly the Bank of Japan's that's going to be taking the charge. In terms of what they're actually doing and focusing on, the Bank of Japan has been in crisis control mode. So they've been focusing on just helping manage liquidity issues in the capital markets. You mentioned that the corporate bond purchase program, they've been buying commercial paper. Currently, what they're focusing on is trying to provide greater funding support for banks lending to, especially to small, medium enterprises that have been hit hard in this crisis. So I think you're going to continue to see the focus from the Bank of Japan on these types of liquidity support measures.